Hi, it's Andy, aka the Flying Yeti, as I call myself on YouTube. Back again with another video. So it's February the, what is it? February the 18th, I do believe, and it's 12 degrees. So it's very, very unseasonably mild at the moment. Take care, mate. So I thought we'd get out on the bike. I'm not sure whether we're supposed to be out on the bikes or not during this lockdown, but it seems like every man and his dog literally are out and about. So what the hell, we're going out for a quick ride. Anyway, I wanted to do a quick 1 year review on this GS R1250 HP, because I've had it coming up a year. In fact, it is a year exactly on the thank you. It's a year exactly on the 22nd of February, so 4 days early for my year review. But anyway, it's a year, isn't it? Oh. This is as much off-roading as I do. I'm classing this as off-roading. I mean, who goes off-roading on a GS? Definitely not me. It's like having a Range Rover, isn't it? You don't take one of them off-road. So how have I found this GS over the past year of ownership? Because, you know, like me and everybody else, we sort of go on the, well, not forums nowadays, are they? That's a bit old school, but all the Facebook pages, the GS owner Facebook pages. And even though it's a GS Facebook page and you kind of expect everyone to be a bit of a fanboy, you do get a lot of moans and groans, especially about the new ones. And it seems like a lot of people have got problems. Whether they're major problems and that's another thing, but everyone's got a little whinge about them. Electronics going schizo, you know, the usual ticking in the left-hand cylinder. I think it's a left-hand one. Usually there's a ticking. The haze brakes, recalls, things of that nature. So, having owned this for a year, and the bike's done, what has it done? 4,166 miles. So it had done 1,000 when I got it, so I've done just over 3,000 miles, as you probably worked out yourself. So how have I found it riding this thing for 3,000 miles over the previous year? Well, the only trouble I've had with it is a minor mishap, again with the electronics. I've done a video on this before, so sorry if you've seen it already. I'll try and make this bit brief. So I was going along, stalled the bike in first gear, pulled the clutch in, started it first time, started normal, pulled away, the bike immediately stopped. So I pulled it into the side of the road thinking, what the hell's gone on here? Turned the bike off, turned the bike on again, because that's what you do with electric things, doesn't it? Reset it, just switch it off, switch it on again, it'll be fine, mate. So that's what I've done, and it was fine. It started, rode perfectly fine. The only downside was there's a warning thing come up on the dashboard saying something along the lines of drive with caution. I think the word caution was used. To your nearest BMW dealership and get them sorted out type of message. So that's what I did, and they sorted it out. It's all under warranty, so it's no big deal, just a minor inconvenience taking it to the shop. I say minor inconvenience, I don't really mind, to be honest, because whenever I take my bike to the dealership, the one good thing I would say about BMW is their network of dealerships is outstanding. So it doesn't matter where you are, you're always sorted out. And from what I've looked online and different videos on YouTube, etc., you know, even people when they're from the UK and they might happen to be in Europe or whatever, and something happens to the bike, and the local dealership sorts it out in whatever country they're in. So yeah, dealership's outstanding, I would say, about BMW. So anyway, I took it in, they sorted it out, obviously free of charge. They lent me another bike for a couple of hours whilst they faffed around with it. So all's good. Got to ride a different bike. Can't even remember what they give me now. But anyway, another BMW type machine they gave me for a couple of hours. Normally I wouldn't even bother, unless it was something I really wanted to ride. I wouldn't really bother. I'd sort of hang around, have a coffee, cappuccino in the cafe that they've got on site. But due to the COVID business, the calf was shut, so it's kind of like, well, if I stay here whilst they do it, I'll have to just sort of like stand outside like a lemon for 2 hours. So yeah, took the bike. So they told me that it needed a software update. I'm still not really convinced that it's just a software update, because it's funny how I had to stall it and then it wouldn't start, and oh, it needs a software update. Well, surely if it needs a software update, it would tell you. Like, if my phone needs a software update, it says new software update. It kind of tells you, oh, I don't know, but whatever, it was sorted, no big deal. So apart from that, I have had zero trouble with this bike whatsoever. I've not been riding it off-road, as I just showed you. That's probably the most off-roading I've done, going down that little lane. So I've also not rode it that much in the wet. You know, I have been out in the wet, but only if I happen to be out when it starts raining. I get caught out in the wet. I haven't done any massive miles, as already outlined, so the fit and finish on the bike is absolutely perfect. There's no paint flaking off, there's nothing rusting or anything of that nature. Everything is as it should be. So pretty pleased with that. The servicing, again, I've done a separate video on that, because it had done 1,000 miles when I first got the bike. It had its first service already before I received it, because the first service is 600 miles, so I didn't have to pay for the first service. That's all done and dusted by BMW. So the second service has just been completed, and that was apparently an oil and filter change, and also brake fluid change, a general sort of look over the bike, and that was £247. So everything was fine. Yeah, £247 was probably the most I've ever spent, by about 100 quid actually, on an oil and filter change. So yeah, pretty horrendous price, but I wasn't expecting it to be a bargain price, because it went through the main dealers, BMW. So I can't really mind. I was expecting it, so it wasn't an unpleasant surprise. Another noteworthy thing as well is that this bike, where it's stored, I have not got power. So there's no electrical power points in my garage at the moment. So this bike over the winter has not been put on trickle charge, and whenever I start it, which is not very often unless I'm going out on it started perfectly. Started first flick of the key. That's a bit old school, and it hasn't even got a key. It starts first flick. The battery is absolutely 100% perfect. The starter motor turns over fine, it's not sluggish and everything else. Unlike Ollie's Triumph, who's behind me now, where if he leaves his Triumph, he's got a 17 plate T120 Triumph. If he leaves that for a week, then we're bump starting it. So pretty much this time of year, every time we go out on it, we have to bump start it, because the battery's completely flat. And when I say completely flat, it is completely flat, as in no lights on the dash or nothing. So yeah, he's probably got a crappy old battery. But as far as the BMW battery goes, it's perfectly fine not being on trickle charge. Whether that's just pure fluke and luck on my behalf, I don't know, because again, some of the comments on the forums about battery is like, oh, I've only left mine a week and I can't start it, it's completely flat. And then when you do start it, it goes all spazzo again because of the electronics. But yeah, as I said, this one's been absolutely perfect. So yes, overall, 1 year into ownership, very, very pleased. No nasty surprises. Everything's working as it should. Nothing's falling to bits. Nothing's corroding away. So I've only got praise for this machine, which, to be honest, is what I would expect for a premium product, because it is a premium product. You know, a cheap old knacker bike, is it? Hopefully this video reassures some of you guys out there that have read comments that maybe thinking about buying one of these bikes, and you're thinking, oh, I'm not really sure with the reliability with these electronics, etc, etc. As I said, I can honestly say this has been faultless, apart from the minor hiccup already mentioned. If you like my little type of videos, then it'd be great if you could consider subscribing to my channel. I'm trying to get to over 1,000 subscribers so I can monetize this account. I've got two accounts. I've got this one, and I've got one called Gym Nutrition, which is to do with my business, which is monetized. So I need to get this one to the monetized stage, just so I can make £5 a month. I feel like I'm winning then. So on my next video, because we're still a bit early in the season, there's not a lot going on, I have decided what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a little video on buying this bike on a PCP, the pros and cons of a PCP finance. Because again, on the old BMW pages, oh, what do you want PCP for? You're paying through the nose. If you can't afford it, don't have it. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, that's true. If you can't afford it, don't have it. I'm probably in agreement until I think a little bit harder on that subject, because if I wait till I could afford this bike, there's no way in my lifetime I'm ever going to be sitting here now riding down this road. It's just not going to happen, because when am I ever going to have 16 grand or whatever this cost? I'm never ever going to have that where I think, oh, hold on a minute, I've got 16 grand. I might buy myself a GS, because I don't really need this 16 grand for anything. That's never going to happen, is it? So you either, in my opinion, I'm giving half the video away now, aren't I? In my opinion, you either never ever have the bike that you want, i.e. this, or you have a PCP and have it. It's like, you know what, I'm a long time dead. Some people call it a midlife crisis. If this is my midlife, then I'm going to live a long while. I couldn't afford a midlife crisis midlife, so I'm having it slightly late.